Welcome back to the channel. Tune in or ghost out. I posted a video yesterday titled Why Gen Z Refuses to Fight Boomer Wars, and one of my subscribers left a comment under that video simply saying the future gives me anxiety, and I haven't been able to shake that thought out of my head. I like to think of myself as someone who doesn't stress too much and kind of just goes with the flow of life, but lately I've been questioning everything, and thoughts that I had in the past that I thought I overgrew are coming back. Am I doing enough? Have I wasted my time? Does the future look any better? And while I can point to things currently that signal that I'm in a better spot than I was, let's say, even a year ago, the overall sentiment I carry into my day, especially as of this month, hasn't really reflected that. It's kind of weird how life works. I thought for the whole year I was pretty much on top of my mental health, but then I have days like today where a simple trip to the farmer's market feels like a gigantic task. And I know that may sound weird, but let me give you some background. When I quit my job, I knew how easy it was to fall into the depths of unemployment, sitting in bed, scrolling, kind of losing sense of hope. So one of the things I've tried to stay on top of is giving myself a sense of routine. And a major part of that is cooking. In addition to just getting outside of the house, there's just something cool about being in charge of what you eat. But as of late, the passion that I once felt to do that has slowly started fading away. I used to have a great time looking through the farmer's market, thinking about what I wanted to make, kind of letting my mind wander. But now when I look around, I just can't help but analyze all the faces around me. People are stressed the fuck out, bro. And this isn't like normal stress. It's a palatable wind of malaise that sweeps over everybody around you, makes them reject any sense of sincerity or kindness you might show because the world hasn't shown them any in a long time. No one smiles anymore. Everybody's waiting to give an angry reaction, and any small mistake a person might make is met with immediate blowback. And something that I've noticed that other people do that I find myself doing more often than not is having to take a deep sigh every once in a while. I've been having to shake off the Gen Z stare more and more often. It's funny, the feeling that I was running away from when I left my job found a way to follow me into everyday life. The coworker attitudes I tried so hard to free myself of are the ones I run into the store every single day. One of the major reasons I left my job was just the dead-end feeling that I had every day clocking in, seeing people double my age working the same position that I did, and I never understood how someone would let themselves grow into a life like that. And it made me want to assess my situation and change the direction and trajectory of where I was heading. And even though the direction I was heading in wasn't positive, I still think to this day if it was the right choice. One thing I've been trying to break my entire life is the mindset of scarcity, because when your brain gets accustomed to not having enough, then you don't make choices for the long term, you start thinking short term, and you start falling to traps that promise instant gratification or a result quickly. And one of the big pillars of my mindset that I've had to build up over time is the understanding that shortcuts usually lead you into worse situations. I talk about it a lot, but look at the economic standing of this country. We've been taking shortcuts, cutting rates, and trying to loophole a good economy for several decades now, and we're presented at the door of debt stacked to the ceiling. Our chase for quick results has stopped us from long-term growth, and I think that's a good reflection on life. You can choose to play into a system, let it beat you up and batter you and ruin any sense of the American dream, or you can reassess your values and see what's important so you don't fall for traps and instead build actual foundations to a better life. But at the same time, who actually has time for that? I can't live in an ideal world because we don't have ideal settings. The inequality around the globe has gotten so bad that we're just reverting back to making people feel like they're not equal. While Elon Musk collects $1 trillion paycheck, he's telling me that the Indians are the problem. We live in a world of just pointing fingers and deflecting blame, but LARPing around as heroes who want change. The average American, the average person across the globe, I think has already toned down their sense of success for what the future holds. The idea of owning a home is long gone. Shit, even affording a car is a pipe dream for many people nowadays. But even as we temper down the ideas of what our futures might hold, they break down the illusion more and more as the day goes on. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna have a house, that's fine, maybe I can get an apartment. Okay, you guys bought up all the apartments, okay, maybe I can get an RV. Oh, I have to pay money to park my RV on the side of the street or you'll tow it? Okay, I'll just be homeless. I'll just give up and be homeless. Oh, you want to execute the homeless. Okay. There's no real sense of anything that's gonna happen positively in the next few years either. It's a 50-50 bet right now if it's gonna be a huge economic downturn or large-scale warfare. But when those are the two things looming over the population's head, it really makes it hard to just live everyday life. Unless you're somebody that's prepping for it, which, you know, I'm not going to tell you not to, because I think it's better to be prepared than not be prepared. I myself have canned foods. I have things ready. I've been in my state when we've had gas shortages and toilet paper shortages, you know, during those times. So I do actively keep at least a small safety net of things for if situations get bad. And I remember when I started kind of collecting things, people called me crazy, especially some of my IRLs. We would go to the range here and there and talk about things, but the idea that it would be this widespread was never at the top of our minds. That changed very quickly. I'm not gonna lie, I miss the days where it was a outlandish thought, but the feeling that everybody has going into winter, it's almost as if people have accepted reality. The delusion that used to sweep over the nation was kind of comforting. For the people who weren't too deep into what's going on, it gave them a sense of stability that kept everything moving. But as everything ramps up, that curtain is pulled back and the pain is kind of seen more and more. Like nowadays, it's pretty common for you to have a conversation on very sensitive subjects just pretty openly. The normality that we once used to have in life has been stripped away completely. And while I think I've been able to cope pretty well with it, people who never knew of a Jeffrey Epstein prior to this year probably have a hard time accepting that the world that we're living in is founded off very weird grounds. And unlike the generations before us, we're just not able to put up with it. If any of you are familiar with anime, I compare it to Attack on Titan. And I know this isn't some breakthrough connection being made, but that piece of media stands so true in today's time because we just see how far and how deep hate and violence have been rooted into everything that we've seen, and how power is like the chicken and the egg. Which one corrupted first? Did the chase of power corrupt a person, or did the having of power corrupt somebody? Because time and time again, we see it as a sword rather than something that brings people together, and instead we turn to the sword more and more often. One of the things they say about our generation is that we're too idealistic and have expectations that just can't be met. But at the same time, the only reason our ideas are as grand as they are is because that's what we were told to think. We were promised futures brighter than the ones before us, especially with the rise of technology and the innovations. It put our trajectory as humans on an upward path, but as that spaceship takes off, we realize that we weren't invited to step foot on the ship. The degrees we were told to chase become useless, our 9-to-5s feel pointless, and the future seems hopeless. I don't make this video to say that I'm quitting, because this feeling of unease has actually made me want to work harder. But that comment just kind of shows me how close we're all tied together, and even though I tried to avoid the feeling, it's still out there. Instead of slowing down and letting myself sink in the sea of hopelessness, I'm choosing to stay busy, focus on a future, even if I can't tell what it is right now. I've sat in that sea of uncertainty for a long time. It kept me stagnant in life for a while. If I could go back, I would never do it again. But I know how easy it is to fall into that trap. I know how it feels to question every decision you make and second guess who you are. And I really remember how empty it left me feeling. I don't have some magical answer. I'm not a guru. I'm just a guy trying to figure it out just like you. I've been lucky to make this channel and hear a lot of like-minded voices that let me know that there's people who want peace out there still, even in all this craziness. And I think at this point, that's all I can truly ask for. I'm doing what I can to prepare for the future, but I also know that I can't control it. Every day is a battle. Some days are easier than others, but I think each one is worth fighting. If you feel this way too, you're not alone. I think a lot of us are going through it, especially heading into the holiday season and the winter. It's hard to shake that feeling off, but I just want you to know you're not alone. We're all kind of anxious, but on my side, it's all love. And that's all I can really control. If you enjoyed this video, comment how you're feeling. How are you holding up? How are things going? But with that being said, thank you for tuning in. Until next time.
Transmission complete. Signal terminating. This is Ghostthread, signing off.